Okay, so once I click this particular option, so I'll see Excel template that is getting downloaded. So after I download this particular template, basically I'll have to give my login details in order to get into the template. Okay, so this is how it will look like. So I think you are able to see my screen.
Yeah.
So if you see, so this is where basically we can log in. Okay. So
So
I'll
I had to give in Google sign in Oracle.
yes, sign in Oracle Cloud. Okay. So once we give this information, so basically system will allow us to upload it to add the data or anything. Okay. So I'll just log in. Okay. So after we give our credentials, basically system will validate and it will populate all the relevant information in the template. So this is how it will look like. So here, if you see, the mandatory informations are marked in star. You can see it here. So without the accounting date and the journal, I mean the ledger that I'm trying to create it, so I'll not be able to load it. So I'll just select the ledger and the accounting date. Okay, so I have given the mandatory information. So next step is to give the account code combination. So I'll just pick the basic thing, I mean the standard values that we have. That is short-term debt and the cash account. I'll pick it here. So since this is vision environment, basically we are having more than 6, 7 segments, but in real time we will not have 6, 7 segments. So on an average, we will have probably 5 to 6, not more than that. But here, if you see, we have 8 segments without feature segment. Okay. So let me choose the same thing. So only the account I'm picking cash account. So others remain same.
What entry you're passing?
So I'm passing an entry for the investment. So I'm picking this short-term investment as debit and cash as credit. Just the dummy account. I'm just making it because this is a vision environment. So we don't have the exact account code combination like the rent or the other test cases. Okay.
Okay. But where nowhere is mentioned it is like investment.
Yeah, here we will not see description. Okay, maybe let me show you in the application. Yeah, here if you see, this is our account code combination basically. Okay. So in application, we will be able to see the short-term investment, but whereas in the Excel sheet that we are loading, so we will enter only the account code, but not the description. So description we should see only in the application.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll change to Excel. Okay, so this is the combination that we have selected. So we can enter any number. So basically, okay, so we can just
But
add a.
here we don't can't see whether it is a debit entry, credit entry.
So here we will enter basically. If you see here, here we
Hmm.
will say debit and credit.
Hmm.
So here I'll say 10,000 and here I'll leave blank and here I'll say 10,000. So this way we will identify.
Hmm.
Okay, so these are the mandatory information. So apart from this, if you see, we have additional informations to capture as well. So let's say I want to capture the nature of this expense or the entry booking. So I can add it as an DFF. So DFF is nothing but to capture the additional information. So we will see this in the coming classes, but for now, just I'm giving the high level this thing. Okay, so these are like additional information. So if you want to capture anything, we can capture. Okay, so I have entered the mandatory information. So after this, I'll click submit. So once I click submit, it will ask me to say okay for the options, that is to validate and the other things. So I'll just say submit. So this should basically validate and send the data to the application. Yeah, we could see that row status has changed to inserted successfully. Okay, so this will trigger an concurrent program or the schedule job. So this will create the JV. So let me copy this JV name and let me check there in the application.
Is this not saved now?
No, it's not like saving. So we don't need to save it because the Excel sheet directly we are uploading into the application. So into
Okay.
application, it will be saved and posted automatically.
Hmm. As soon as we enter.
Yes, correct. No, as soon as we submit.
Okay.
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 Yeah. So this is our entry basically. Yeah, our cash account is in credit and our short-term investment. This is in the debit with the 10,000. Okay, so since this is just for the sample case, we used only the two lines case, but it is not limited to only two lines. We can add even 1,000 or 2,000 lines. So we don't have any restriction at this point.
Where can we see cash is debited or credited?
Sorry.
Where can we see that cash is credited?
Here, the accounting entry, if you just place it here, you can see that this is an cash account and this has credited. And if you see here, this is our investment account. So this is debited.
This 21,000, that is 7,300.
21,000 you are saying about department.
Okay, that is number.
Yeah, number. So this is just a code that we have given to each department, and
Okay.
we have funds that has been tracked. So we can give for each segment a code. So 21,000 is given for this one, president office.
Okay. So that is randomly given, or do we
No,
have
it's
any?
not randomly given. So if you see this particular ledger, so each one is based on the use case. So this ledger which we are using is that based on the what you call the kind of an education industry. So
Mm.
here it's kind of an university which manages its financial transaction and the other things. So
Mm.
that is why we are having fund and we have department. So that's why we have the president office and the other things.
Mm.
So here if you see we have program and class and the unit and the other information basically. So based on each use case, we will have the chart of accounts. So if you remember, initially we created chart of account. So
Mm.
based on that, we have it. So for this use case, it is university. So that's why we have this combination.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
Uh, where did you select the cash while entering?
Hmm. Okay. Let me create a new JV just to show where we are selecting the cash account. Okay, so here we have accounts. So I'll just click this. And if I want to select the cash account, so I can select from here. So this is kind of a quick suggestion the system will give based on the latest entries that we made. So or if we don't know which one is the cash account, so we can say search.
So,
And from here, we can give it in the description.
mm.
So it will give us the cash account.
Okay. Whether it is cash or bank accounts, it will, the list will show there.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So accordingly, whichever account we want to select, we can just select and we can say okay.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else?
Nothing.
Okay. So now we have seen one way of uploading our uh, journals into the application. So that is using the AFBDA. So we have other way of uploading the data as well. Even that is using the Excel sheet. So what we call that is that FBDA. Okay. So I'll
Mm.
just show you the navigation and the other things. So if you see here, so we have a list of templates that is available for each module. So if you see here, we have the cash management, we have it for budget, we have it for asset. So now we are seeing only the GL module. So I'm showing only this four combination. But we have option to take the template for each modules. Okay, so this is our journal import template. So once I click here, so I will have options. So whether I wanted to see the control file or I wanted to just download the Excel template. So once I click this option, so this will download a template. Okay. So here basically system will not ask for any login credentials or anything. We can simply open this Excel sheet. Okay, so I'll just open this. Okay, uh, can you see the Excel sheet?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is how the template will look like. So with the basic information or the sample data, we will have the template filled in. So we can remove the unwanted entries and probably we can post it. We can create our own data. Okay. So
Mm.
before that, if you see here, so we have certain instructions. So how to fill in the data and how to prepare it and how to load. So what is the process exactly? So that will be explained in this instruction page. Okay. So there are 3 to 4 process involved in terms of uploading this JV into the application. So first we will download the template that we have done, and then we will we will clear or enter the data that we wanted to do, so that we will be doing it as a next step. Once this is done, what we will do is that we will click generate CSV file. So what this will do is that it will generate a CSV file inside our local environment as a local system. So after we complete this step, third step, what we will do, we will go to the application and we have an option to run the schedule process. So there we will attach this file, the CSV file that we stored in our local system. So once this program is completed, so that is when this JV will be posted or imported into the Fusion application. So this is the process of importing this journals. Okay.
What is
So
the full form of CSV?
CSV, I'm not sure. CSV is a kind of a format that is being used by technical people, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is comma separated value. So that is the abbreviation of CSV.
Common separated value.
Comma, comma separated value.
Comma.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the process. So basically, why do we use this particular template is that when we, especially we will use in 2 places. One thing
Mm.
is at data migration. So data migration in the sense we might have the legacy system, and probably business want to upgrade the system to the Fusion application. So we cannot just start the system. So we need to get the legacy data because there will be some sort of balances lying in each account. So we need to get all those balances. So how we will load this that using the JV. So for the purpose, this will be useful because if you see the account code combination wise, so that will be easier to calculate or understand. We will just use the FBD template and we will load it. But in this case, let's take this scenario where we have probably 500 plus operating units. So each operating unit is considered under segment one. So in this case, we cannot just say that only account-wise balances are being mapped and reconciled. So it is also office-wise. So the list will increase definitely. Let's say we have 500. So 500 into 500, the list will be huge. So for those cases, we will need this template to upload. In terms of performance, this will help us not to hang or anything. Okay. Yeah, so this is the part. Yeah, and apart from that, we will use for the what do you call importing from the third party application. So let's say I have 2 different applications. So one is core application. Let's take education. So there is an company that provides the education service to any sort of region. Okay. So in this case, I will have one core system which records my basic entries, and end of the day, this entries will be pushed to this specific financial reporting entity. So that is Fusion application. So if I want to receive data from some source, I need to have set of mapping and the other things. So that I will do it technically, and functionally speaking, I need to have the template and the other details. So this template I can use as it is, apart from adding the few custom source and the category. Okay. So this will be linked and it can be scheduled, and we will get the data now and then based on the schedule, like 30 minutes once or 1 hour once. So these are the two places where we will use basically the journal import template. Okay. Yeah. So I'll explain the fields. So what is the importance and why do we use it? So probably after that we will fill in with few data and we will try to upload it in the system. Okay.
So do we have to customize this before we start, or will it be ready for
No,
interest?
no, we don't need to customize this page because it is not required, because most of the cases, if you see, this is the standard template that will be used. So only custom thing that we will be creating is that journal source and the journal category. So that we saw in the last class that, no, not last class, before that, how to create the journal custom source and custom category. So once that is created, we can just attach it here. And the other fields, if you see, these are like common. We will give the journal name and we will give the ledger and which account should be debited and which account should be credited. All those information we will give. So everything is here. So this will be standard. So custom part is only for the journal source and category.
Okay.
Okay. So now we have a status code. So status code, it can be new, or probably if we want to update, maybe we can insert the record, or maybe if we want to update inside the application. So that is also possible. Okay. So now I'm saying this as a new, since I'm doing it for the first time. Then I have ledger ID. So ledger ID, this needs to be changed because one is just for the sample record. This is a seeded one given by Oracle. So I'll update it once I check it in the application. Okay. And then if you see here, so we have the effective date. So when am I entering this transaction? So that specific date I will give it here. And then I have journal source and the zonal category. If I have the custom source or the category, I can use it here, or maybe I can use the simple manual and the adjustment category. Okay, and currency in our case it will be USD, since I'm not doing any foreign currency transaction. Okay, and the creation date I can give it. So this is similar to the effective date. Same date I'm going to give it here as well. And here, if you see, I have two things. So one is to give it as an action, or I can give it as like the budget or the actual one. So I can give either way. So I'm choosing this as an A, that is actual. And then I have the account code combination that I wanted to enter. So this is based on the segment that we are using. So in Oracle, if you see, the minimum segment that we wanted to use is two, that is company and account. And apart from that, Oracle privileges to use 30 segments. So if you want to use, we can use till 30. Okay. So once the segment is entered, we will give the debit amount and the credit amount. Okay. And then if we want to use the journal batch name, so that we can give it. So either we can give the journal batch and the what do you call the journal description, or we wanted to give only the batch name and the journal name. So that is also possible, since that is not the mandatory value to give the description part. Okay. And the other informations are like optional. If at all we wanted to give, we can give the journal reversal period and the flag. It is no, basically, since we are loading it for the first time. So similarly, we have other informations also can be captured here. Okay. So basically, these are the informations that we have to be captured. So whatever we saw earlier are the mandatory information to capture. So I'll just give the sample record and we will see it in the application. So as a first step, I'll take the ledger ID. So I'll go to setup and pick the ledger ID. Okay, so this is my ledger ID. So I'll just copy from here and place it in the Excel sheet. Okay, so date I'll give as 2020 December. And source and category, for now I'm using the standard seated source and the category. Okay, so let me pick the account code combination. So I'm using the same combination that we use for AFBDA. So only the account I'm just changing here to the recruiting account. Yeah. So my third segment is account. So I'm changing it to 200, that is cash account. So remaining combination I'm just using as it is.
So we have to remember that the codes,
Yeah, yes.
cash code is 11200.
Yeah, yes, yes. That we need to remember.
How do we know that that is segment 3
Which one?
and that
Yeah, that
11,200?
also we need to remember. Basically, we will not have information or the description stating this is account segment here in the template actually. Maybe if we want to cross verify, we should log in into the application, and
Mm.
from there we can verify. So we saw, right? So we have the journal creation page where
Mm.
we have an option to select the account. So there we will see the description.
Mm.
Like here, if you see, so we will be able to find that this is my account segment, and this is my program class and fund account. But there in the template, we will not be seeing those inputs.
Mm.
We will just see the generic term, that is segment 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
So we entered this information. So let me give a name for batch. Probably I'll give the same one, 89123. Okay, so these are like the additional information. So if I want to give, I can give. So group identifier, let me give this as probably 8912780. Okay, so that's it. So these are the mandatory information. So we have given it. So now we have given only one entry. So for our testing purpose. Okay, so what we will do is that next step is the third step, that is to generate the CSV file. So I'll navigate here, the nearby tab, and I'll click generate CSV file. So I'll save it in my local. Yeah. So now this entry is being generated in CSV format. So what we will do is that we will navigate to the application and we will run this import program. So the navigation is tools. So under tools, we have scheduled process. Okay. So this is the program that will pick the file and process it. So after this, an interface program will be running. So first we will run this one. So the reason why we are giving this import program, the scheduled job is that, so how system will run in behind the screen is that once we keep the CSV file ready. So this file should be picked up and placed in a separate shared folder or any other folder that is maintained by Oracle. So from there, another program that will pick the file and place it in the exact location where user will be able to identify the journals or the trial balance, whichever we wanted to call. So that will be placed under the specific folder. So that is why we have two processes. So one is to place it and the other one is to import it. So first we will run a program to import it or sorry, it is to place it. So this program that we are giving it here to import the journals. So this is the one which is going to actually import the journals. So I will click this option called upload a new file to load the data that we saved after we converting into the CSV. So I've selected it and I'll click submit. So this will basically place the files, and once this is done, so this import journals. So this program will basically import all the journal entries. Okay, so I think this program is done. So we will run import journal. Okay, yeah. So we have selected our schedule process, that is import journals. So here, if you see, system will pick our data accessor that is assigned. So for this user, that is called financial implementer. So I have assigned this data set called University US Primary Ledger. So that is the reason I'm saying this. So apart from that, I have assigned other data access set also, if at all. So I will be seeing the list here, like two or three data access set, whichever count I have given access. Okay. And second thing is that I'll need to select the source and the ledger. So source I have selected manual since I have selected this particular source in the template while I'm filling in the data. Okay. And then if you see here, so I have group ID. So whether I wanted to import all the group ID or I want to import the specific group ID. So these are the two options that I have, but I cannot give it in the range. So let's say I have a range between 100 to 150. I cannot give that. So I should select each one of it. If at all I don't want to use the all group IDs. So group ID is nothing but unique identification key to say that this is our journal entry that we placed there and we wanted to import this particular entry into the application. Okay. And then we have options like the summary and suspense account and the other things. So let's say I have an error that is not balanced entry. So I have given 100 in my debit and 200 in my credit. So whether system want to show error or it want to give it in the suspense account. So I can say yes if I want to place it under suspense account. Okay. And then I have create summary journals. So summary is used when we have parent accounts also involved in it. So I don't have it, so I'm just saying no here as well. And then I have import descriptive flex field. So I was saying, right, like if you want to capture the additional information, so we can capture it here. So that I can specify it as yes, if at all I want to import the additional information. Okay, so I have given the mandatory information. So I'll just say submit. Okay, so now let me check this under my this thing, manage journal screen. Let me see whether I'm able to identify this. Yeah, so this is our JB. So we can see, we will just open it up. So the entered amount is 25,000. So this is the amount that we gave. So let's verify the account code combination as well. Yeah, so our cash account is basically under the credit, and under debit, basically we should see the recruiting expense account. Yeah, so this is our recruiting expense account. This is debit. Okay. So there is a minor difference between AFBDA and FBDA is that AFBDA, since this is inside the application, so it will post the entries automatically, but this is not inside the application. So we downloaded the template from this screen and we are just loading it into the application. So we will have to post it manually. So I'll say post. So now this will be posted and added into my balances, so which I can verify under my TD. Okay, I think it is already processed. Okay, I think approval is enabled, so probably that is the reason it is not allowing us to post it. So I'll just approve it. Okay, it's been approved to the different person. Okay, so the process is this one. uh, Basically after we approve this, so this will be posted. So this is the thing for our Excel based journals upload. Any doubt in this?
No.
Okay, Now we have created this one, what do you call, the JVS and the manual one and the Excel based one. So all these options we have seen. So now let's say I wanted to reverse any particular JV. So how do we do is that basically I'll search this particular JV and if at all I wanted to reverse. So what I will do is that I have an option here. So either I can reverse the entire batch, or if I want to enter any particular JV, I can reverse here. So I'll just reverse this entire JV. So what I will do, I'll just click reverse and it will ask me to select the period that I want to reverse. I'll say Jan 21. And reversal method is nothing but how do I want to show my amount. So whether it should switch the debit and credit, or it should change the sign from positive to negative. So I'll just say switch debit to credit. Okay. So once this schedule job is done, so we will have this JV, the reversal JV created. Okay, so we reverse this JV. So basically, so it should be reversed. So the reason for that is that we did not give change sign option. We gave reverse the entries. Okay, so we will just check once. So if that has happened, okay, yeah, it has been reversed. So now if you see, this cash account is in the debit side. Okay, so basically to reflect this in our books, we will have to post it. Okay, so since I'm into the period 1st of April, I mean 31st of April, I will not be able to post it. The reason for that is that we saw in the initial session that we have future enterable period. So I can enter the transactions or the journal entries, but I will not be able to post it. So here, if you see, system has allowed me to enter the entries or generate this particular entry. But here, if you see, the post is disabled. I cannot post it because I'm in the period December, but I'm trying to post it in the period January. So what we will do, we will open the period for Jan and we will see here. Yeah, so the period is opened. So we can check it from here. It's Jan 21. Yeah, the period is open. So we will go back to the journal screen and we will check whether now we are able to post the reversal journal. Yeah, so again, this will route to the what do you call the approval process, but still we should be able to post this to the next level. Okay, so now we are able to post it because we opened the January period. Okay, so that's it on the reversal. Any doubt till now, or we can move on.
No doubts.
Okay. Okay. So the next thing that we will see is that foreign currency transaction. So for this, what we will do, we will enter an what do you call? We will add value for the currency. So our currency is USD. So we will select INR, Indian currency. Okay, so these are the rate types that we have. So this is just for naming convention. So for now, what I'll do is that I'll use the corporate. So before that, I'll check if at all there is a value already loaded. So if it is already loaded, system will not allow us to load it again. So I'll just cross verify. Yeah, so this is loaded already. So we'll not be able to load it, but I'll show you how to load it in the system. So we'll say create in spreadsheet. Yeah. So similarly, since this is inside Fusion application, so I need to give my login credential, that is username and password. So I'll place my username and password. Okay. So I'll just say USD, and from USD probably I'll take ADP. Okay, and I will use the standard conversion rate. Okay, I think this is date. So we'll say 31st December 2020. Okay. Yeah. So similarly, if I have for other currencies as well, so I'll just keep adding. So I can insert the row and I can add any number of rates. So for now, I'll just say only for one row and I will say submit. Okay. So now we can see that this has been inserted. So we can check USD to ADP in the application. Okay. So let me take ADP. Yeah. So this was the one that we loaded. So that is 10. So if you see here, so system has automatically calculated and considered the inverse rate in the other ways. If at all we are doing the transaction with ADP and our foreign currency is USD. So for those case, this inverse rate will help. Okay. So we have loaded it. So we will see one foreign shade. Okay. So everything is same. So only thing is that basically the currency will be different. So in this case, I'll select ADP. Okay. And the rate that I want to use is corporate. Okay, I think corporate is not attached to this particular user. So for now, I'll use this one, user. So same activity. So I'll select account code combination and debit and credit. So once I give this information, the amount, if you see here, the accounted USD. So this should give me the converted value. Okay. So now you can see that the rate has changed. I mean, the accounted in US dollars. So this is different. So based on the conversion rate that we have given. Okay. Yeah. So we will just post this JV. Yeah. So again, this will go to an approver, but the process wise, that's it. So basically, we will have to load the values or the currency rates. So once these rates are loaded, we can do the entry. So we will select the rate type and we will select the conversion rate. So this will populate or give us the actual conversion. Okay. Yeah, that's it on the foreign journal. Any doubt?
No doubts.
Okay. Okay. So the next topic that I have is the translation, revaluation, and the period closure. So three things are there. I think it might extend. Uh, okay. So what we will do is that we will see the period closure activities today, and we will see the remaining things. The revaluation translation part we will see it tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, so in order to close any period, so that there are certain activities that we need to perform before we close any period. And when we say period closure, we have two things. So one is at the subledger level, and the other one is general ledger. So subledger is nothing but our receivable, payable, and the other modules. But whereas general ledger is nothing but the consolidated accounting representation. So unless we close our secondary ledger, so we will not close our general ledger. So that is the key. So in order to close the sub-ledger, basically we should make sure that all the activities are performed. So let's take AP module. So AP module, we will book invoice. So this could be the what do you call the any basic transaction like the rent payment and anything. And apart from that, we might also purchase some asset for, let's say, furniture. So here we have certain processes that the invoices should be validated, accounted, and posted. All those activities are there. So unless we complete all these activities, so we cannot close this payable period. So unless we close the payable period, we cannot close the GL period. So we need to consider all these factors in place, including the reconciliation. So reconciliation is nothing but reconciling the data with our payables and our general ledger. So whether we have transferred all the entries. So if at all, let's say there is a balance for a given account, rent account. as an 1 lakh in our this thing, TB. But whereas if we take the invoice registered for this particular account in AP module, so we see only 90,000. So 10,000 is lacking somewhere. So which means there is some discrepancy. So if it is 90,000 is in AP module, which means we might have booked an manual entry in GL. So we should reconcile all this data, and after that we should freeze our payable period. So once this payable period is freezed, so that is when we will come to the GL period and we will close this period. Okay. So this will be the periodic activity. So this is base for us. And apart from that, if you see here, so we have two period closure. So one is monthly closure and the other one is yearly closure. So for monthly closure, it is very simple that we will do reconciliation on the other parts and we will close our periods. But whereas for the year closure, what will happen is that all my profit and loss and these entries will be generated. So how system will generate these entries is that so if you remember in our ledger setup initially, so we gave this retained earnings. So what this retained earnings will do is that it will hold all the what do you call the surplus, that is profit, difference between basically the revenue and the expenses. Okay, so that will be placed there. So this will create a journal entry through our create a balance sheet account. So there is an program that will generate our year-end closure entries. Okay, so once these entries are generated and verified and posted, so next period, so basically we will reverse it to avoid the duplication. So once this is done, then we will close this period. Okay. So yeah, so that's it on this part. So the navigation is here. So the regular navigation in the period closure dashboard, we have GL. So once we open the GL, so if at all, let's say we have four or five ledgers, so we will choose any one of it. So since we have only one ledger, I'm able to see only one. So accordingly, we can select here in the data access set. I can change from here and I can select my ledger and I can do either open period or I can say target period. So when I say open period, what will happen is that only the next subsequent period will be open. So here we can see that status this is marked as future enterable. If you place over, it will say this is future enterable. But whereas here if you see January, it is open. Okay. So no period was closed. So if at all I wanted to open any period, I can say open period or I can say from actions, I have two options, either to open or I can say open target period. So open target period is nothing but let's say I'm in probably April 20. The other periods are yet to be open, but as a priority, I need to open probably the February 21. So what I'll do, sorry, not this one. So what I'll do, I'll just say open target period, and here I'll have list of periods. This is based on the definition that I have given, the period that we have created in on the initial configuration. Okay. So here I can say that I wanted to open my, let's say April month. So I can directly open my April month. Okay, so this will open up my April month. So basically, this is how system will open the periods in two way. So I can just say refresh here, or here also I have this refresh button. Okay, so now if you see here, so April period is open and May month is future enterable. So why we are saying only one is that we have given it in the ledger future enterable is one. Okay. So now if we wanted to see only the closed period or the future enterable period, so that we can see it here. Okay. Yeah. So this is at high level. And last thing is that we have in terms of closure, we have two things. So one is soft closure and the other one is hard closure. So soft closure is nothing but we will basically close the periods But whereas we will not permanently close this. We will just close it, and if we want, we can reopen. Okay. So now if you see, I have closed the April period. But if I do hard closure, that is permanently close this. So I'll not be able to open it again. So that is the difference between hard closure and the soft closure. Okay. So now we can see the April month period is closed. So if I say open, so this period will be open. Yeah. So we can see this is open. So that's all about the period closure activity. Any doubt in this?
No, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So this revaluation and translation will take some time. So probably we can see it tomorrow. Uh, and this one material for GL, I have shared it in the group. Maybe you can check and let me know if you have any clarification. And also, I would suggest you to work on this instance. So unless you practice, basically you'll forget. So that's the point I would like to suggest.
So keeping reference this material, I can start working on.
Yeah, yes, yes, you can start working.
Okay, I will start from tomorrow.
Yeah, just see that. So once you,
Yesterday I tried, I think, but I was not able to log in.
okay. Okay, maybe instance is replaced. Yeah, I'll check and I'll share the details.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, fine. Then I'll meet tomorrow.
Mm. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.